I'm live streaming every week from now on. They're all being quiet.
Bup. Alrighty. Time for some more MTG Arena. Still having fun with this, with the limited cards. Even with spending $100, there is a definite stranglehold on rares when you build on MTG Arena if you want multiple decks. Now, I guess that's kind of the pros of MTG Arena. I'm sure you can get a deck for very cheap on MTG Arena if you know the specific deck, but if you're like a brewer like myself, MTGO is way less expensive, especially like, for example, when I initially bought into Scarab Gods, I could just sell them right now for cards that I wanted, or for those kind of junk rare cards that usually cost nothing, which is the vast majority of my decks. It's quite easy to get those on MTGO for pennies, whereas on Arena, a rare is a rare. So you can either spend a rare on something that sees heavy play, like a Vraska's Contempt, or you can spend it on the exact same rare, like I just dropped some on Chandler Initiates, for example. So that's Arena definitely is strangleholded right now on the rares. You can see that I have plenty of uncommons and commons and mythics. I actually only have one mythic left, but usually the decks I run out of the rares that I want. So anyway, I'm going to show you the deck that I just went 7 wins with. You can see that I started with 500 coins up here in the corner. You can see I'm up to 5,100, all by doing the quick standard. And it does go pretty quick. I actually find the competition worse than if you're just going to do the regular queues once you get up into the gold ranking. And once you, like, because it pairs you up against a lot of bronze and silvers. Bronze and silver doesn't mean as much as it used to now that people have access, like the whales especially have access just to drop like a couple $100 and build tier decks. Again, I'm pretty certain you can get a tier deck, like get all the Ash-Colored Phoenixes quite easily. For like a mono, it's between the Hazard and Ash-Colored Phoenixes, it depends. I mean, at least with the Hazard, you can build like an all-commons deck with Hazard, and a few uncommons like with the, you probably need Lightning Strikes at that point, and what is it, the On-Crop Crashers, but the rest of the cards a lot of them are commons and uncommons, but anyway, I'm pretty sure you can get those type of decks, but to build a variety of different decks, yeah, I think you are going to have to drop more than a couple $100 because I'm already, I've built 2 decks and already completely out of resources to build it. But grinding, this is also with grinding a lot of value. The quick queues you can sure gain a lot of value quickly. Quick. I'm saying quick a lot. And it's actually quite easy to do it with rogue strategies. So that's what I'll be trying to showcase now. Maybe we'll play some more Catcher's Monument if I get frustrated. But I did get 7 wins with this deck you see before you. That's one big time bitch I have right now with Arena is you can't adjust any of these windows. So there's that going for you. So anyway, I'm going to hurry and tweet this out and Facebook this out so we can get some more people in here. I don't know what's up with YouTube lately. It definitely isn't pushing live streaming again, which is funny. I thought they wanted to compete with Twitch. Apparently, they must not want to. If this continues, I'll probably just switch over to Twitch so we can get more people notified and in here, and hopefully get together as a community and start discussing ways to brew. I actually like this like limited standard format. This is what standard would be like if they would have kept with a short rotation, and so it's kind of fun in that, and with all the limitations to actually brew decks. I find it quite challenging to, instead of just like start looking for cards, like I know what cards I want, but sometimes I don't have those cards, so I have to work with what I could work with. And it's funny, you actually find some really good, interesting combos, or at least, cards you otherwise would not find or use by these limitations. Ramming Up Red, I think, is a good example of that. People running the Daring Buccaneer, I wouldn't be surprised if people start actually running more of a pirate theme for this Ramming Up Red type strategy, even in standard at the moment, because having a 2/2 on turn number 1 that doesn't, that doesn't get chump blocked by a 1/1, a 2/2 that can keep attacking in, and then like rigging runners that become 2/2 for strike. It adds a different element, like kind of a stronger element than going with the more Beaumont Courier route. Other than I know that Beaumont Courier has a way of refill back up the hand. So anyway, what's going on, Tasty? You bought 135 Dominaria packs? Jesus, Tasty's he's richer than I am. Look at this kid go. And Tasty, like a scrub, is admitting that he built Ramming Up Red, which means he's an awful human being and we should all go shame him and kick him in the nuts while we're at it. So let me hurry and tweet some stuff out, and I'll be right back to do a deck tech with this particular deck, and we'll show exactly how it works. Maybe I should probably just bring up MTGO and show it on a nicer platform than MTGO. All right, so 1 second. Let me twat this out. If I can find the little link. Where is the link? Jeez. Okay, I'm already lagging on this. Good old. All right, so let's go ahead and go through the deck tech here. So the deck tech of this is a Rhonas Monument. I don't know which one, chat, which one's easier to see. If I click on this view, that just kind of shows the side view and the text and then just kind of go down them, or show the view of this and go over them. I guess, I don't know. I personally think that the kind of the pile view with the text is easier to follow. This is probably too small for everyone to look at, but alrighty. So first off, we're going to use the best ramp card, which is going to be the Llanowar Elves. And then the Chandler Initiate is a 2 of at the moment. This is basically because I didn't have the rares to fill it back up. So Naga Vitalist is going to be a fill-in for the Chandler Initiate. The Drover is the better one of this because it can get us the red source. Other than this does die to random 1 damage spells that you'll see every now and again, like against dinosaurs that can deal damage to each creature. Whereas the Naga Vitalist won't. But I still think the Drover is just superior because we do have 1 red card in the deck, which is Samut, Voice of Dissent. And for that reason, I think the Drover is just better than the 0/2 Elf. Plus, it can attack in as a 1/1. We don't run any dinosaurs in this deck. It was going to change when I get more rares. We're going to run maybe a 1 or a 2 of Wayward Swordtooth. And then that will help us with the ability to play some of the lands that we hit off of all of our Explore cards. So this is mainly the Explore cards. So the idea of this deck is you're going to go through, all of your cards are either going to explore off the top of your library, or they're going to generate mana, or they're going to be a finisher. So then on the Explorer end, we have the Ixalar's Diviner, we have the Merfolk Branchwalker with the Jadelight Ranger. I am not running the other 3 drops. I think that's just fine. Run 12 of these. And of course the Wild Growth Walker is going to help, and it's going to stabilize versus the Vampire, against the Remnant Red or other aggressive type strategies like Merfolk. A lot of times this can get out of control because it's going to gain you 6 life off a Jadelight Ranger, and of course 3 life off the rest of these. We're going to run a 1 of Rhonas because this is one of our win cons. Do you know what this deck actually feels like? Is the Collected Company deck, Counters Company, out of Modern. Because once you kind of get this rhythm going, you don't quite win on that turn or go through your entire deck, which is the way that it works in Modern, but you go through a significant portion with the Rhonas Monument and all of your mana dorks. So we want to hit a Rhonas Monument. A lot of times what you're going to do with your Explore cards is you're just going to dig until you find like a Rhonas Monument or a Vizier of the Menagerie, preferably both of them. So it doesn't matter what's on top of your library with the Explore, you usually want to chuck it in your graveyard. The other finishers in this deck are going to be a 1 of Majestic Myriarch, which becomes massive, and then if you give it Trample with Rhonas Monument, it is going to, of course, just smash through. And then you can also do this with Rhonas the Indomitable. And then you also have Samut, Voice of Dissent, which is a 3/4 Flash, Double Strike, Vigilance, Haste, and other creatures you control have haste. I'm running 1 of at the moment with this particular card because I do not want to waste another Mythic slot on Samut. And a lot of times it does feel just like the Counters Company. You just need a bunch of 1 ofs. And that is that. So anyway, is Arena on Steam? No, Arena is its own little platform at the moment. Danny. Okay, so the mana base, which is really good about this deck, is the 18-1. You can exploit the Arena system and actually even go a little bit lower because Arena is going to give you the best of the two hands. So there's no wait, yeah, there's mulligans. So, but since they're 1 of games, how it's programmed into the software of Arena, which I do like because it's when a computer decides, not a human decides which hand is better. So it'll hurt combo decks. If you were to give combo decks 2 hands and they get to choose 1 of them, combo decks would just go crazy. But since the computer is choosing, then it's not something that the computer can choose the combo for the player. So, but what this can do is it can really, really benefit decks that run a low land count. I could even see going down even lower, 16 lands for a deck like this, and it'll most likely give you 1 land if on like a bad end, and then because 16 is what it's so almost a fourth year deck at that point is lands. So one out of yeah, I guess that's actually pretty low still to have an opening hand of 2, because usually with this deck you do want an opening hand of 2 lands. But then there's kind of a non-bow with all of the explore cards if you're not hitting lands off the top. So you do want some amount of lands, but you don't want too many. So anyway, you can exploit that, is what I'm saying, with the Arena client. To give you the more mana efficient of the 2 hands. You get basically 2 options to find that 2-lander. And anyway, Danny, just go to mtgarena.com, I believe is what it is, or playarena.com. I can't remember exactly where, and you can sign up for a beta key, and then they can send you one. You have to kind of win a little lottery to get the beta key. Fan actually sent me a beta key, and that's how I was able to get mine. As I'm sure my Rogue Deck Builder account is flagged on Arena to do not give him a free key. I thought I have one now, and I've actually spent money in it on this particular client just to kind of showcase and do an overall review of the Arena client. So anyway, I'm liking Arena. I like the quick matches. I kind of like how it's has a fast flow to it. I think it's the exact opposite of MTGO. MTGO is a client where I think everyone's just used to being real slow, so you don't notice it when everyone else is slow. But you can grind out so many games on Arena. It goes very, very quick, and it's quite fun, in my opinion, to burn some time, especially with the limited options. And there will be plenty of other opponents that are playing with limited options. There will be those people, like I said, that are going to drop the money and build the complete decks, but that is that. So... friends don't let friends play Raminut Bread, so if any of your friends play Raminut Bread, then you have my permission to kick them. Yeah, kick them in places that they deserve to be kicked. We'll just put it that way. Let's go ahead and cue this up. Let's play some of this good old mono green, and I'll show you how crazy this deck can get. I admit this deck is bad. It's a bad deck, but in one-match games, you aren't susceptible to a lot of the hate that would come in traditional decks. So right now there's a lot of like Moment of Cravings, Magma Sprays. The only removal spell or board wipe removal spell is the golden, whatever the golden, I always forget the golden card, golden, the -2 to all creatures, and there's also Settle the Wreckage, and this deck actually does really well dodging both of them. So because you don't really even care about it like swinging in for lethal a lot of times with all of your creatures, like massively swinging. A lot of times you just pump up one card with Rhonas. So if they use Settle the Wreckage on it, then you can just do it all over again the next turn. Okay, here we go. Let's go ahead and cue this up. A lot of people just joined immediately when we were doing the deck tech, but you can rewind the stream and see the deck tech here. So again, this is really good value for the quick constructed. Last one I did with this was 7 wins. With the Rhonas Monument, I'm 4 and 6 with getting the 7 wins, and the rest of them had like at least 3 or 4 wins. It's very frustrating going against Raminut because a lot of times with the 1-game match, Raminut just, if they are on the play and they get their perfect draw where they can utilize all their mana by turn 5, that's very, very tough to beat. But these decks do, I highly suggest running a deck that can beat Raminut. If you don't play a deck that can't beat Raminut, I wouldn't play it right now. So anyway, we'll go ahead and give this a go with the good old Rhonas Monument Stomp. All right. So yeah, like I said, for all those joining, I've gone from 500 coins all the way up to 5,100. There's a few dailies mixed in with that. But, you know, that's a 10 times increase just by doing these dailies. And let's hope... I wasn't into lags. It wasn't lagging at all this morning, and now all of a sudden it's lagging like crazy. So I don't know if it's maybe with putting it with YouTube and streaming. We'll have to find a solution to that. The first day I was streaming, though, there was no lag. So again, this is a typical hand. It tries to give you 2 lands because it'll take the best out of 2 hands. And this one had the 2 lands in it. It's kind of weird, though. We'll keep it. Of course, this hand would be bonkers if we had a turn 1 elf. And you're going to be going up Raminut all day long. That's all people play on here. Because Wizards is literally retarded when they do things. And, you know, the Raminut Ruins and Rampaging Ferocodon was too good for Standard. So what are we going to do? We're going to put it in Arena. So anyway, this is what I'm talking about the Arena, though. Since we don't have the Beaumont Courier, people had to find a different solution. And they've gone the Pirates. And the Pirates have a turn 1 2/2 drop and a turn 2 menace. But we have the nuts here. Our opponent has to have a Lightning Striker. We're going to win this game because I don't think they can beat Jadelight Ranger, Jadelight Ranger, Jadelight Ranger with Wild Growth Walker. If they do have the Lightning Strike, though, then I'm going to cry. And I'm not out of it, though, because then the Jadelight Ranger still can get me a lot of value. But I do not want to shed tears on stream, so let's hope that there is not a lightning strike or a double magma spray here. Funny though, I've actually seen a lot of these Round Up Red actually cut lightning strike, believe it or not, for Shivan Fire, getting another magma spray. All right, so the Capillary Storm is a little bit of an issue. Of course, we're not going to be blocking here, as the Capillary Storm could be pumped up, and highly doubt that they're going to use the token to pump it up to a 5 or a 3 to take 5 or take 4 here. And then I could definitely see my opponent scooping here. They're going to put out a rigging runner or something. Yeah. But this is going to be brutal for my opponent to come back from. And again, we are digging until we get... Oh my goodness. Oh, I was going to say we're going to dig until we get something good, but... I really want a Wild Growth Walker on... I don't foresee myself casting it, though. So I think I'm going to graveyard it. And we get a land. Okay. So Ranger goes up to a 3-2. The Wild Growth Walker goes up to 3-5. This gives us a blocker versus the Capillary Storm. And then we can put a blocker. All right, the On-Crop Crasher is going to stop the... Oh, this lag is awful. And our opponent's attacking with everything. Going to make it so the Wild Growth Walker does not block. But we're up to 20 here. And we can throw this on the Crop Crasher, I think, even though it's been dumbed down for a... maybe the Buccaneer is actually better to block now. We're going to block the most damage possible. That is a lot of damage, being 8 damage, but we're going to gain it all back here. Jeez, look at that. So, we're going to go ahead and just throw out the... And again, we're gonna throw everything away here. I'm gonna keep this one on the top of our library. Wild Growth Walker this time is going to keep on. So we're at 18, no attackers. We don't have a 1-drop to throw out. So our opponent's used a lot of resources. Hasn't really used, well, actually hasn't used a lot of resources. We've only been able to kill 1 On-Crop Crasher, but they've only been able to do 2 damage. We have a blocker for the Capillary Storm again, and the which I should have blocked the Capillary Storm, other than our opponent could have duplicates in hand. All right, Magma Spray. This is what I can't stand about these Ramnups. They're very efficient at using the mana. And at this point, I still think I'm going to take out a first striker. I know that Capillary Storm could be the call here, but I actually think it's Rigging Runner. So we are down to a 10, and we have another Wild Growth Walker with another Jadelight Ranger. I'm sure my opponent is going to be very triggered. Next turn. That's it. Well, there's the nuts. I think... yeah, that was the card that now my opponent's not going to be triggered. Oh my good lord. The last card in hand is a Rampaging Ferocodon, which, again, banned card in Standard. Apparently good enough for... or not good enough for Arena. This might change how I go here. I'm probably going to go into the... No, it's still going to be Wild Growth Walker. I'll go down to a 7. Ugh. Triggered. I'm the triggered one. A dumbass card. Okay, so we go down to an 8 and put this in the graveyard. And put this in the graveyard. And I'm just going to die just because I can't block enough things, I don't think. And knowing these Raminut players, there's no way my opponent has a 4-drop in hand now. My opponent's going to have the most relevant card ever, which is probably like another Rampaging Ferocodon or something. So, yeah, that Ferocodon is absolutely hoses me from. The good news is, though, is if we get another Explore card, we can get big enough with... I don't even want to put out another card, but we will. I'm going to have to go low on life. I don't think I'll cast any of these two because they're kind of weak. There's a Rhonas Monument, at least that... That a dumb card. Yeah, it just stops you from really doing anything until... And we don't have any removal, so Rampaging Ferocodon is just a silver bullet. I don't know. Maybe I should start attacking in. We'll do it after this, because our opponent can't, like, let us. Oh my goodness. So we could get in for... I could go for lethal here, except there's one card in hand and it's probably a lightning strike. Because they always will have the perfect card when you're playing Roundup. The computer's like, we're going to give you exactly 4 lands every game. You're never going to flood out. You're never going to have a card you don't need. And it's going to be the one card you do need to win the game. So just keep that in mind when you're playing Arena. That Roundup is pre-programmed to always win. Okay, so we could go +2/+2 here, lose a life, +2/+2, lose a life. I'd swing in. I think we do want to go for it. Oh, this hurts. Yes, Tasty, I'm very salty right now. You'll get salty too when you start playing Arena now that everyone is, of course, is shifted over to a pay to win. We'll put it on the graveyard. I don't know if we... So we have 12. I can't really go any lower. All right, my opponent's at 8, though, so my opponent can't really... Actually, wait, this has Menace and this has Menace. Maybe that was a bad attack. Or I should have gone a little bit higher. Okay, so this needs a block here. This and this needs a block here. And this needs a block on the... That'd be 4 damage coming through. Or just let the 3 damage Rampaging Frostodon come through. No, that's not how I want to block. Whatever. Okay, so timeout used. Okay. So we need to kill this thing. I could let the 4 go through, or the 3 go through. I don't think it matters life total-wise. So, I want to keep that alive, so... We're going to take 4. And only use 1 creature. But, again, this is going to be a lightning strike in my opponent's hand. And maybe we won't get to see it. Jesus, Arena. I think it's these peak hours. I think I stream every time and then it starts. That's not relevant for the Captain Larry Storm. Yeah, we go to a 1. So my opponent messed up or just didn't... I don't know what my opponent tried to do there. Okay, so my opponent, I guess, didn't really... have another turn. I can't believe we pulled that off with that Rampaging Frostodon. But anyway, there you have it. I hope that was you, Tasty. Was that your little screen name that we just played against, you dirty Ramina player? I apologize for the lag. I don't know. I don't have anything else open. And my computer's pretty... Let's close. I'm going to close a few more apps here. And see if that helps out any. Well, I mean, this computer's a pretty good computer with a pretty decent connection. I don't know why it should be lagging if I stream. All right. But it always feels good, you know, beating these Raminut players. Because this is exactly what I thought was going to happen. I mean, how dull do you have to be? I guess when it's a grinding game, though, when you're trying to get cards... it is smart to grind with something like Raminut because, like I said, you can make a very budget version of it for very, very cheap. And this is a very good hand. We have both our Win Cons and a Wild Growth Walker Jaylet Ranger combo. So anyway, you know, I don't want to fault anyone for, you know, I don't want to sound like he who shall not be named. But it gets very old going against Ramnup like at least every other deck. Alright, so this is a different deck. I think that I kind of want to guarantee that we get the Rhonas Monument out. So I'm going to go Drover over Wildgrowth Walker. I think that life is also irrelevant here. If we can get the Monument, then we're in a lot better shape. Alright, now we need to draw a land off the top or we're in bad shape. Okay, so we have to go with Wildgrowth Walker then, because of the Moment of Craving. And I feel very far behind by missing that land drop and going second here. The difference between going second and going first would be a Rhonas Monument out right now. So now we're kind of at the mercy of a lot of the counter spells. And we still need a... Yeah, I'm actually glad that happens because the Wildgrowth Walker's not relevant. And that means if we draw a land here, oh, perfect. Yep. We get the Monument out, and this just ramps us like crazy. So we do have to worry about a turn 4 Scarab God. Another card is that card actually has a lot more answers now with like Syncopate. And the good thing about Scarab God is it's really bad versus Ramnup. It's slow, it's clunky. Even if you cast it, then you have to. It just uses your turn for that turn. The one thing that this deck does have going for it is the Moment of Cravings of Rascal's Contempts are okay, and the -2/-2 to everything is also really good. So I think what we're going to do here is we're just going to go for the life instead of the Vizier of the Menagerie. Quite yet. We can do that next turn. So Wildgrowth Walker is going to come down. I doubt it gets countered. And do I spend my... Nah, we go Jadelight Ranger. I could definitely see this card getting countered. That's fine. Our opponent is running out of resources other than that. Treasure Map's about ready to flip. Good news is we don't have any, like, treasure win cons as much. Alright, that was a decent card. As it allows us to Vizier. Let's hope this one doesn't get countered as well. Of course, we find a land on top with our Vizier. And we'll go ahead and attack in after the lag subsides. Two cards in hand, but then they have a third with the treasure. Well, there's the Scarab God, and has mana to get things back. Ugh. Good news is we can still fight through a Scarab God. There's no Chupacabra in the graveyard, so now I think we have to wait. All right, beautiful. Now you're gonna watch this deck just go off. I actually could win here. Depends on what my opponent's last card in hand is. We do have two not relevant cards, though. Because I don't want to give my opponent the Ravenous Chupacabra back because that's an activation with the Scarab God. But we do need to get... Okay, so usually we want to keep this... Well, I think we want to graveyard it. Ah, found us a land. And another land on top. Definitely not where we wanted to be. Our opponent can get a Jadelight Ranger out of ours. Well, I think we still do cast the other Vizier of the Menagerie here. This would put it up to a 6, so it would go through. Now we'll still do the Wildgrowth Walker. Yeah, so I think actually attacking with Wildgrowth Walker is smart here. It's going to block the Ravenous Chupacabra and take 5. But yeah, here's our night. So we're going to bring back a Jadelight Ranger. And finds a swamp. And a lag spike. Okay, so I think we're going to kill the Scarab God. That became a 5/5, huh? Make him recast the Scarab God? I still think they're making recast because I'm not worried about a 5/5. I want the mana just to be used. The less treasures my opponent draws off of. So now I can get back another Jadelight or can get back a Wild Growth Walker. I hate these runs. When this happens, this is when it's brutal. And unfortunately, our opponent gets back the Chupacabra here end of turn. So, well, not a bit of unluck, really bad luck. Out of 18 cards, 3 Rhonases and 7 lands, so 10 cards, or duplicate cards. Yeah, she would probably kill one of the Viziers. And now my opponent can sort of go on the backswing here and start taking out my life total, but still is at the threat. With the amount of lands that I have in my hand, we can definitely go off on one turn. So I hope this is not another Ravenous Chupacabra that's coming down here. Ugh. Now we can't win. Now it's gonna be tough. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and concede this one. There's no way we're coming back from it with the double Chupacabra. I knew I shouldn't have put the Chupacabra in the. Maybe the attack with the Wild Growth Walker was probably bad. Probably should have waited a turn. I don't know if it would have done much. Yeah, that was a mistake. That was definitely a mistake. So usually with this deck, you just want to wait till one lethal turn, or one lethal attack. But we ran into that kind of bad run of lands and Rhonas Monument there, and couldn't just churn through our deck. So you'll see when this goes off, though. Well, Tasty, that's exactly why I keep running decks like the Catcher's Monument and the Catcher's Monument and the deck that I'm playing right now, is because it's really good against removal. All right, so this is a very risky keep. Our opponent is going first, too. Ugh, we're going to keep it. It's got the Llanowar Elf. Hey, Adam, appreciate the donation. Well, the non-MTG Arena. I'm liking the Arena at the moment. It's fun to build with lack of cards. But yeah, these kind of tuned Scarab God lists and Ramen Up Red is getting old as hell. I agree. It's the spikes have to win at all costs, no matter what. All right, so we have Rhonas Monument. Unfortunately, we missed our land drop, but we can get an. I want to initiate out right now. And it looks like we might be going against, like, vampires. And if we can get this Rhonas Monument to stick, we're going to be in great shape, because it's just going to. We also have a Majestic Myriarch. Reaver's Ambush, but okay, that's irrelevant because we hit the nuts. All right, we hit the land, which is the nuts in this case. So Reaver's Ambush usually isn't a very tuned card. They might be using it in they don't have the cast outs yet, or the Vraska's Contempts. Again, you get so stuck on rares, you have to really prioritize which rares to run. And it is Vampire, so Forerunner of the Legion comes down. And this is going to be pretty good to get the Vizier of Menandria out. Well, our opponent just got a Legion Lieutenant, so that's pretty reasonable. Yeah, I still think that's it's going to be. We can go Diviner and a Vitalist. I don't think we need the Menagerie quite yet. So that's what we'll go. All right. So first off, we'll go with the Diviner. Oh my goodness, that's one of the... I don't think we need it though. Rhonas is usually pretty good. I'm going to put it in the graveyard and probably regret it. So there's another route you can go with this deck. You can actually go a gate to the afterlife because you fill your graveyard up so quickly with these explore cards. And here we'll go with the Vitalist. And I do know what, it looks like it's my internet connection that's actually crapping out, and I'm actually checking the OBS. So I apologize for that. And we're still going to do a Drover. Unfortunately, it's going to be wasted. The Rhonas Monument is here. But we have a ton of mana for next turn. And... oh, no, it was a Sanctum Seeker my opponent grabbed. I don't know if I like that play. And that's a weird play to get the Sanctum Seeker out first. Or Sadistic Sky March out before Sanctum Seeker, because this is a useless attack. Let's block. Okay, so there's the other land. Now we can go crazy with the Vizier. I might want to go Majestic Myriarch, though, because it's huge, and then it wins next turn. Most likely. So let's just go the Myriarch over the... Could we possibly win this turn, though? Let's see. How about we have mana available 2, 4, 6. No, we're not even close. So we're gonna go the Myriarch. And throw this on the Diviner and actually attack in. And I think we win next turn. Unless the Vizier or the Menagerie hits, a land is fine on top next turn because it hits us more. And in fact, I'd prefer to draw a land. But then after that, we're gonna... Okay, well, never mind. We don't win now. Take 2, lifelink. No, Rhonas Monument, of course. I guess they come in 3s. I guess they go in 4s. Good news, we have no more dead draws. So 4 out of 14, Rhonas Monuments. Yay! So another Vraska's Contempt, and we might lose this one. That's the problem with this deck, though, is you do need the Vizier as quickly as possible. That's why we run so many Explore cards to dig for it. But then, okay, Sanctum Seeker is going to hopefully get the job done. Next turn, we lose 4. Our opponent gains a ton of life. Really thought with that opening hand there was no way we could lose. But is what it is. I still don't want to like make a trade with anything. My opponent might be a little bit hesitant. I can definitely block with a Diviner here. That's a kind of a weird attack. They have a Moment of Craving. Did we see another Moment of Craving before? I don't want to lose my Vizier, but we can just kill off a Forerunner. I think I have to make it a block. Well, we're going to cross our fingers here that there isn't a Moment of Craving. Well, Pride of Conquerors, I'd be dead if I didn't make that block, so... anyway, though, we lost this one. Womp womp, the quads on the Rhonas Monument. And hitting the land. Yeah, that was a very, very, very unlucky. Very unlucky there. With the... So now that I say I won 7 in a row, we should beat Vampires almost every time. I don't think Vampires is capable of beating Rhonas Monument just because we fled out way better than they do. Can gain a lot of life off of the walkers. But yeah, those last 3 draws were god-awful. Could have had a worse 3 on the top. So maybe keeping Rhonas on top was better, but I still wanted to dig for the cards we needed. Couldn't anticipate that. I'm thinking about actually running the 1 of 5 mana enchantment. You mill 2 and then bring back a card, and that feels kind of bad in a low land count deck. Well, we have a high land count deck and we have exactly what we need. So you do want to hit land drops every turn. So we have the Vizier of Menagerie. That means we have 15 cards left. Okay, Arena, I'm telling you right now we have 15 lands left in 53. So just give us our statistic lands. Don't give us any more. I don't want to be seeing 3 lands on the top and 4 Rhonas. Well, we do want 1 Rhonas Monument. I did cut it. We could probably cut Rhonas Monument back down to a 3 of. It's just a very pivotal card, and then you can start just looting away the Rhonas Monuments with the Explore cards later on. But it tends to never works that way. It always is going to make you draw 4. You know, you have 1 Rhonas Monument. You have to have. It was at 2. That's 2 games now. We have 3 and 4 of the Rhonas Monument with less than 18 cards in one and 14 in the other, or something like that. Anyway. Start off with a Forest. Our opponent, this is our opponent, got a really bad start with only 5 cards. So. Love to see red-green decks. We'll throw out the Wild Growth Walker. Alright, so we're going against Dinosaurs, which we should have a very, very good matchup against. We'll go ahead and Dora the Explorer here. And graveyard it, because again, we're digging for the Rhonas Monument. It would be kind of fun to put 1 Gate to the Afterlife, God Pharaoh's Gift in this deck. So Needletooth is actually very good against our Vizier. I don't like that if they put out the deals 1 damage each creature. Oh, that's dirty. I also don't like going Rhonas, though. I'm going to kick myself if they have the 1 damage. This is definitely the better payoff. I mean, could my opponent... I'm not dead either way. I'm going to go for the... Yeah, what I'm trying to explain here is if my opponent does have the deal 1 damage each creature, my Vizier of the Menagerie dies. And then I'm in kind of an awkward position of having 6 lands. So, yeah, we drew lands, of course, with keeping the 4. And there's a Savage Stomp. But that did use my opponent's resources. We have a Rhonas now with mana. So, Vizier Imaginary, my opponent's. And unfortunately, though, we're kind of in this awkward... the deck really needs the Vizier of the Menagerie. Like, really, really needs it. I'm going to turn off some animations, see if it helps. That lag is crazy. Alright, so... throw the Rhonas out. Throw the Llanowar. And no attack. So, hindsight, I guess I shouldn't have gone the Needletooth. Looks like my opponent's also flooded. However, my opponent has the top of their deck to go crazy with. And we don't run any removal in this deck. That's the... with playing an all-in deck, that's the problem with it. Like, is what it is. We can start attacking it with some pretty decent damage, though. So I don't know if I'll even go the... So we need to pump up right now so we can attack with Rhonas. So the Rhonas needs to pump up the Wild Growth Walkers. And then we need to attack in with these 2. The Drover's going to block on the Rhonas. I guess my opponent does have enough. And I'd rather get another additional damage or Naga Vitalist out. I think we're going to put out the Vitalist. But this is not looking good. Like, with the amount of lands my opponent has, they can really start going through their deck with the Vizier. It's going to kill the Llanowar Elves when it attacks, actually. Jadelight Ranger, this is good to dig us towards another Vizier. So we might be back in this. Kind of want that on the... Again, I still think this digs next turn, though. For 2. We'll graveyard it. Graveyard that as well. And I guess we'd have the Wildgrowth Walker now that I'm looking at it. I think I was putting too much into... Okay, so we're going to go combat. We're going to attack in with... We can actually attack right now with... These? No. Just these two. Yeah, that was bad. I definitely should have kept it. I had a brain fart there that I've had a Wildgrowth Walker out. But that would have been a huge Wildgrowth Walker the turn after that. I think my opponent has to block here. The double block would be decent. We'd kill the Vizier, though. My opponent is definitely making up his mind. Whoa, Nelly. I think we're going to get a free attack in here for damage. Oh, there's another timeout. Jesus. The thing I can't stand about Arena, too, is then it's like every action you get an entire full 30 seconds or 60 seconds or whatever it is. They need to have a way that people that just don't do anything for a certain amount of time just get completely... Or they just lose the game. And maybe they do have a stop, but it's at least... I went against one person, their entire strategy was just put a land and then... Stall, stall, stall. I guess you can report these people, but... Very annoying, especially when you're streaming. Tasty, I do not have a Carnage Tyrant here. Carnage Tyrant would be bad in this deck. Oh, are we just frozen? Is that what this is? No, okay, we're tapping mana. This client is just super, super... Alright, so we put us down to a 3. Really is a Hail Mary here that... Okay, it looks like my opponent is disconnected. Well, while we wait, chat, how is everyone today? What would everyone like to see built after this? We'll leave it open. I don't know how long I will be streaming tonight, though, but we'll at least play a few leagues with the, or whatever they call these quick standards, with the Dora the Explorer deck, and maybe switch over to something else. But I don't know, we might just be completely frozen with Arena. Yeah, this is frozen, right? Womp womp. Do I have to... And okay, so we'll reload it here. I might have lost this game then. And that will suck, because I'll be losing points here. This will be my third loss. And we might even have to do a good old Control-Alt-Delete here to get rid of it. Adam, Dominaria is pretty good. Did a few drafts. I was really looking forward to doing some drafts and having a lot of synergies, but I even found that draft ended up being more lackluster than sealed, with having kind of these halfsies decks. So going a specific strategy, not having going auras and not getting enough auras equipment to make it work, for example. So the two drafts, one was Esper Control, and I 3-0'd the draft, and then I did a black-red control with the Archaeomancer, the Get You Archaeomancer, the red one. Get You Chronicler, is that what it's called? It's 2 mana, and then three in a red to kick it, to get a spell, a instant sorcery back from your graveyard. And then you run it with the 3 mana black spell that gets back 2 creatures, and then you just loop it, rinse and repeat. You can also run cards like Dark Imitations, that looks at 3 cards of your library, put combo, or there's Local Tutor Wannabe, that goes through your deck, finds you a card, and puts another card in your graveyard. And both those work really well in Dominaria. So, work both those with the combo is what I'm saying. So that's my favorite strategy to go, is the Get You Chronicler. I think it's a very underrated card. I think it's very pauper playable after now playing it a lot in the sealed and constructed, as it's a lot of times you'd end up casting them for 2 for a 1/3 just to start blocking those early. There's a for example, the 2/2 first striker that I was blocking all day long, and my opponent couldn't get through the 1/3. Two games I had 2 1/3s out. My opponent had a bunch of 2/2s and wasn't able to get in on anything. All right, so let's see if we're back in. Okay, so it just deleted that match that we won. We should have won. And it is still lagging. Settings all the way down. And we are still lagging like a madman. Tasty, I played against a Goblins deck today. Against Arena. It was just a bad ramming up. Alright, so this hand is actually okay. We don't have any mana dorks to get it going, but of course the Wild Growth Walker. Hey, Paul, this Stompy deck is a rogue deck. Definitely is a rogue deck. It's a combo deck. It's a synergy deck. It's definitely a Kevin deck. It's not your typical just play green Stompy. And we get to play against this deck again. Hey, of course when you draw a Vizier, they come in 3s. They come in 9s. So we have 6 more Viziers than Midranges we need to draw off the top of our library. No, Tasty, the Arena was working fine. It seems to be late at night. It was working absolutely fine. I played a lot of it just while I was watching the shop today. And it was perfectly smooth. I think it's when it gets to peak hours. They don't have enough server space for it. It just starts to lag out. It does seem to be incredibly resource hungry too. Which I don't see why a program like this would be resource hungry. Again, this computer has no problem playing games. I played a lot of other more intense games than this, resource intense. But yeah, well, Stompy deck might be a Rouge deck, Paul. Now that I'm actually reading the comment correctly. Those Rouge decks. Yes, you're right. You're right, Casey. All I do is play as Dota because Dota is love, Dota is life, Dota is the only game worth playing. I do like Magic for the social aspect and the creative aspect, but my favorite game by far is Dota. So I don't want to run out of Vizier of Menandry into a counterspell, except I have 9 of them. So I'm going to use one of our 9s and run it out into a counterspell. Our opponent needs to counter this. Whoa! Look at that. Frost is contempted? There we go. Now I'm wishing I would have gone with the Ixalar's Diviner, but unfortunately we didn't know it was on the top of our library. Tasty, I've noticed the longer the game goes, the more resources it eats up. So we'll throw out another one, see if this one wants to get countered. I'll play this game with you. Counter Vraska's Contempt this. What's up with these blue-black control decks, too? Aren't they terrible versus Ramanup? I would think that Ramanup just runs it over. I get the Moments of Cravings and Vraska's Contempts and whatnot, but it still doesn't seem to be like a good answer to Ramanup. I feel like the only way that beats Ramanup at the moment is just to clog the board. The treasure map has been cracked, and our opponent has a bazillion resources, so is here Scarab God coming down? Champion of Wits with 3 mana open. Negate, and yeah, Negate's pretty terrible versus us, and a Swamp. So, we will once again establish for the 5th time a Vizier of the Menagerie. And I think that we will still cast a card off the top of our library. Even though it could get some more off the Wild Growth Walker. I think that's better. Hey, we get a land at least. I actually do want the more lands than Mare at this point. We are going to have to out-resource our opponent. And we have a Jadelight Ranger coming up. If our opponent wants to block the Merfolk Branchwalker, fine. Yeah, I'm okay with that. Good one, Spoon. Well, I mean, actually, the program needs to start to warp and curl for sure to be an official WotC product. So we should see some massive glitching or something. But yeah, that is a good one. Here comes old Scarab God. No, here comes... Alright, Nezahal we could care less about because we don't use any non-creatures except for Rhonas Monument in this deck. And this is also a free ride just to go crazy here. We'll play the Forest. I think I will put out a Wild Growth Walker. This thing's going to get huge. And then we can loot away the Initiate. Yeah, I don't care about a Motive Craving on that Jadelight Ranger. So we're going to graveyard it and graveyard it. And we gain a bazillion life. And we just want the Llanowar Welfs off the top, or to make our Wild Growth Walker at 8. No, I think it's always just better just to use the resources. We could hit like another Llanowar Elf off the top there. Exactly. And we have Rhonas' Monument coming up. We have the Avengers have been established or assembled. And next turn with the Rhonas' Monument, if it doesn't get countered, we're going to be in great shape. Our opponent also used a lot of those treasures to get Nezahal out, which Nezahal is pretty terrible versus us. If this is even a... This is Scarab God, it could be quite bad for us. Oh, just gonna get back a champion. Yeah, not too worried about a champion. Opponent's going to be able to draw a card off the Rhonas' Monument. Does not have a counterspell unless they drop an island to negate the Rhonas' Monument. They also do get another draw. You know, it'll cost them a treasure to do so. So, I believe we are going to run out the Rhonas' Monument. If it gets negated, then I'm going to be very sad. But if it doesn't get negated, I don't see my opponent winning this game. We're just going to go crazy here. Well then. We are sad. Okay, so again, we're just going to keep using stuff off the top of our library until we find another one. And... Merfolk Branchwalker coming up too. So I know I shouldn't be putting these into the... It actually seems pretty good, but I mean, the later this goes on, then my opponent's going to get the Scarab God and out-resource me. So I need to find another Rhonas Monument, but we'll put it on top of the library. Now, here's the question. Do I attack in with the 7/9 Wild Growth Walker? Well, first we're going to cast because I forgot I casted Llanowar Else. Hey, look at that. It gave us a forest. I planned this. We already have played a land this turn, so we can attack in with the Wild Growth Walker. I don't think I want to go with this Wild Growth Walker. Our opponent can kill it with the double block, but we can kill Nezahal. Yeah, that's worth it. Told you this was rogue. So we need to find good old Rhonas or Samut. Samut is really good at this point too. That's going to have to take the Wild Growth Walker. That is the wrong move. That is the wrong move. They should have taken the Vizier. That was unless there's another Vraska's Contempt or something to take the Vizier. I do not agree with that. I mean, no, it's huge, but still. See, there's another Jadelight Ranger. Look at all the value we're going to get here. Off the other one. I mean, this could be countered for sure. Still 3 cards in hand. This card's actually... Here's another card that doesn't see play very often, if at all, in like regular standard. But it's really good in this arena format. We'll just go with this Wild Growth Walker then. Knocking out value me. And I still think that we can go... I think we want to go the Diviner. Right now. Oh, well, we still have 2 mana open, so... We still have a lot of mana open, so we'll go the Drover. There's the other Rhonas. So, do I want to keep some of these in my hand for Rhonas? Library. And now we can attack in with the Wild Growth Walker again. Which I'm sure the Chupacabra will just eat it. So it does get kind of scary with another Chupacabra in the graveyard for a Scarab God. But I think at this point we have to start... Do you know what? At this point I don't give a crap about River's Rebuke. I'm at 62 life and I have 9 mana. My opponent can cast a River's Rebuke. It's Scarab God that's the card that I really need to worry about. In fact, I would the Golden City would be worse than... So digging for a Scarab God, and if my opponent does find a Scarab God, they have to cast it this turn, and then we go crazy next turn. My opponent needs a negate. It has to negate this. There's no way around it. You got to negate. Now took the right route with the... 18 damage to blocks the Jadelight Ranger. So it has to block the Wildgrowth Walker to even survive. And that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 Exactos. So it has to have a Moment of Craving? Nope, this is Exactos. Uh-oh! Waiting for match result. Oh, there we go. We got it. Boom. Are we gold 1? When did I ever hit gold 1? I don't remember going gold 1. Should be at 4 wins here, except for the arena deciding to poop on us. So, one more win and we get our money back. How's everyone enjoying this deck? And is this the same opponent? Didn't we just play this opponent? Morality? Kind of a risky hand because we don't really have anything going for us. I'm going to keep it, though. This two-card combo is amazing, by the way, if anyone's ever played it. I was worried about this deck for sure with keeping this particular hand. And I get Ramen Up. Quit going first, Ramen Up. Let us go first once. Just one time. Yeah, this is going to be very awkward. That's a better card to throw out than the Vitalist, other than it's going to get Magma Sprayed. Oh, Lord. Really fun Magic on turn 3 to have no life left. This is such a stupid play, but I think I have to go this play. So I'm going to go Drover the Mighty. And then I'm going to go Chandler Initiate. And I'm going to kill the Naga Vitalist. I hate this play. I absolutely hate this play. Oh, this play is so garbage, but I have to do it. Jesus, every game! This is ramming it for you, every stinking game. Good God. Because, you know, blocking is, like, not needed in Magic the Gathering. We can just print in the same block 8 cards that are 2 cards and have 8 of them in your deck that allow you from not blocking. Alright, so anyway. We get a Bishop, Bloodstain, a Slimefoot Stowaway. This will be a fun card to actually play. And a card that actually goes towards our chest, which is what we definitely want to fill up. That's we lost 100 points there. I don't think we make any changes to the deck. I'm okay with doing it again. Again, we're down a game we should have won due to the arena crash. So for all of these that are joining, let's just go over the deck tech really quickly for everyone. This is a Rhonas Monument all-in deck. These type of decks are quite good on arena because there is no sideboard, of course, and there's no Fumigate. There's 2 things going for them, and then a lot of decks aren't running Hour of Devastation because it's just really bad right now in the overall meta. So you can get away with a deck like this, being an all-in deck, making your opponent react to you with only 1 game on the line. So we have a 4 of Llanowar Elves, a 2 of Chandler Initiate, 4 of Drover the Mighty, 4 of Ixalan's Diviner, 4 Merfolk Branchwalker, 4 Naga Vitalist, 4 Wildgrowth Walkers, 4 Jadelight Rangers, and this is our package of the everything works off Explore or gets a benefit off of Explore or generates mana. To then either dig for or cast our combo cards, which is Rhonas' Indomitable, which can give a creature +2/+2 on trample, so you can make any of your cards push through, or at least any of them that are blocked even push through. A Rhonas' Monument that also gives your cards trample. A Vizier of the Menagerie, which is the whole point of this deck, because then once you get the a lot of the mana dorks assembled, or Rhonas' Monument, you can just go through the top of your library like crazy. A Majestic Myriarch, which gets... Usually it only gets the trample if you put it on something else. It doesn't have a lot of combos in this deck except for Samut. Samut, Voice of Dissent, which is a 3/4 flash, double strike, vigilance, haste, gives all your other creatures flash. So you can see that Samut in this deck allows all of your mana dorks just to be cast and then be spent on mana. And then we are only running 18 Forest and 1 Rootbound Crag. I think this deck does want a Wayward Swordtooth or 2. Possibly not, though. They do eventually pump up your Drover. And the Regal Caracal, not Regal Caracal, excuse me, the Regisaur Alpha is another card that I thought about putting in this deck, as it gives you another way to make your Majestic Myriarch have haste and trample. So even just with the Regisaur Alpha, let's just pull up a Regisaur Alpha so everyone can see the kind of the Regi. So the Regisaur Alpha is a 4/4 that puts out a 3/3 with trample and haste, basically. So if you synergize it with the Vizier of the Menagerie, you have at least 6 power. Or sorry, not the Vizier of the Menagerie. Majestic Myriarch, you have at least a 6/6 haste trample card, and then of course the 3/3 and the 4/4. So I don't know if it quite works here. I don't know what I'd cut at this point. I don't know if we need the 4 Rhonas Monument. It does tend to be a card that you want to see no matter what in every game. But you can see that we do go over a ton of cards. We do go through our deck quite quickly. So apparently Tasty didn't understand the combo of Samut with the rest of your deck, because he's arguing for Regisaur Alpha over Samut. Samut gives all other creatures have haste. With this amount of mana dorks we have in our deck, you want them to have haste, and Vizier of Menagerie making all of our Explore cards come in with haste. It is 1,000 times better than Regisaur Alpha in this deck, but we'll let Tasty will dictate it for us. Just kidding, Tasty. Love you. All right, so Path of Discovery is something we could run in here. I don't know. It's definitely worth the test run. I don't know. You can definitely play this deck and see how well it runs in it. I just don't like having another 4-drop in this deck. Thrashing Brontodon is very good against. It's more of like a sideboard card. It's good. I had another version of this that I played last stream, which was a more serious deck with Rhonas Monument that was more of a green stomp deck, and it performed very well. It was a really good deck as well. I don't think that it wants to be in this particular deck, though, as it's going to be... We don't really want to react to our opponents. We want our opponents to react to us. So anyway... The other card that I definitely was thinking about was a 1 of Gate to the Afterlife / God Pharaoh's Gift. Like, just one of each of them. Because it gives you another alternate win condition to have a Gate to the Afterlife, crack it, go get the God Pharaoh's Gift, and then be able to just get back one of these pivotal cards like a Vizier of the Menagerie. Then you can't cast stuff at that point for the Rhonas Monument, but it still seems like a pretty decent a card that they can eventually outgrind your opponent. So we'll go ahead and queue this up again. Tasty, I still don't think you understand the combo of Rhonas Monument. I still don't think you get it, of why everything wants haste. If you drop Samut, you win. You drop Regisaur Alpha, what? You're going to chump block for a couple turns? Maybe attack in with something? It's not good. It's the synergy with the... If you're going higher into the Majestic Myriarch, yes. But Samut is just a boss in this deck if you have the 1 of. It also gives flash. You can flash it in a turn and then go off. Regisaur Alpha is not doing anything. It's absolutely not doing anything in this deck. It's not a stomp deck as traditional stomp of kind of go wide. It's an all-in, one of your creatures gets huge off of the Rhonas Monument and attack in. What am I doing here? We're playing. Play, quick constructed. Well, it's not even Flare. This isn't all about Flare. Regisaur Alpha does not work like Samut does in this deck. At that point, if you're just looking for a good body, we could go the 5/4 for 3 mana. That's more justifiable to come out on turn 2 with the Llanowar Elf. No, there's not combat tricks that give your guys haste, Tasty. It's Samut that gives your guys haste. Samut is so underrated. The card is just a very, very... It also... We're in a deck that can pump up a particular card, and it has double strike. So Samut can be the win con with Rhonas Monument as well. Having haste itself, and then getting +2/+2/+2/+2/+2/+2. Okay, this hand is absolutely boss. The only thing we're missing is a Vizier of the Menagerie. But we are going to be able to reduce our... If this doesn't get Magma Sprayed or killed on turn 1, then we're going to be in great shape. At least we don't have to take some damage, but these Rabbit Up Red decks are getting ridiculous. That's why I just continue to play Catcher's Monument and farm these bastards out of existence. Let's go to the Naga Vitalist here. So, also with Catcher's Monument, like, there is going to be a change I'm making to Catcher's Monument. I'm going to throw in the Inspired Clerics. The gain 4 life, 3 mana, 3/2. Super good versus this deck. All you really need is that one extra turn to stabilize, but usually when Rabbit Up Red goes first, it's such a lopsided matchup for everyone. It's the exact reasoning that they banned Rabbit Up Runes. Come on. So, here we'll still get the Visit of the Menagerie here, and we can still go off on the next turn. We could go... No, do you know what? I still want to do the... Yeah, I think we just need to try to race here as best as possible. We're going to go the Diviner, throw it on Naga Vitalist. Yes, it deals the damage to us, sure. Whew, that would be good if we had not a Rampaging Frostodon out. So at this point, I am going to throw out... Rhonas is something I could throw out right now instead of getting in for 3 over Drover. But Rhonas can't block next turn. I'm still in kind of the same spot that I was in. This is actually a tough decision. No, I need Drover for the mana. Yeah, Jason, you can rewind the... I need to put a deck list. I need to find a way to export. Is there a way to export on Arena? Maybe I'll export it after this and throw it up on stream. So I guess at this point we're just going to try to erase our opponent. They don't really have anything out. The Rampaging Frostodon can actually hurt them a lot here. The good thing they have going for it is 4 mana. Most likely going to get in for 3 with the Rampaging Frostodon. Well, more now. But our backswing is pretty good too. Okay, we're going down to 11. And my opponent does have the mana for the Rabbit Up Ruins. So, Merfolk Branchwalker is something, yeah, still probably better than Rhonas. I still think we want it. I want this back. We have, but if I'm in attacking, it's got to go on the Diviner. Jeez, it's still a card that I don't want. I think we have to Rhonas now rather than the Vizier. Vizier can allow us, no, because we're not going to have the damage next turn. We need the pump. I do need to get in for the 3, I believe, but that kind of leaves back a weird block for another unblockable. I take 9 and go to 0. If my opponent plays another on-crop, no, I think we're okay. So we're going to go Rhonas. Because my opponent's also down to a 9. Yeah, worst case scenario is another on-crop Crasher, but we're still in decent shape at that point. Glorybringer is pretty bad for us too. No, Glorybringer would be awesome. I want my opponent to Glorybringer here. Galta Brian is definitely an option for this deck. It just doesn't. No, Galta's actually probably, it's an option, but probably not very good for what we're doing. Because it's just another creature that doesn't add to what the combo is trying. You got to think of this deck like the Counters Company deck out of Modern. You're going to try to go through as much of your library as possible until you hit those key cards, and then be able to, like, I thought about splashing for white for Chalet, Chalet seems boss in this deck, as it's got that Gavany Township effect on top of it. But, okay, Arena's going to die on us here again. Yeah, Vadal, that's not a bad comparison as Legacy Elves. We are trying to do an elf ballish type strategy. It's not a go wide. It is a go big. Because it's one creature we're trying to pump up with Rhonas Monument. And it looks like Arena might be frozen. Alright, so my opponent just lost. Oh, maybe not. My opponent maybe did not lose here, if they're going to leave back a blocker. That was probably the right one to kill as well. Okay, so that was not the card we were looking for. Maybe my opponent did not lose here. Exerted. We go down to... Daylight Ranger pumps up a creature. Yeah, that was actually good here. That was a really good play by killing the 3-2. Yeah. So I go the Vizier. I think the Vizier Menagerie is the only hope here. And there's got to be a 1 mana spell on the top. But then I still don't know if we quite win. Because we pumped up, we still can attack. So there's no dinosaurs in our deck, so this one can be added for a green. And we have to go Vizier the Menagerie here. And then hope that there is a creature on top. A 1 mana creature. And hope this Arena holds up. So this can go on the... Ha! Womp womp. Well, if we don't attack in this turn, I think we're fine still, so no attackers. But ramming up with 3 cards in hand, pff, yeah, another on-crop Crasher does it. Because 2 things can't block, and I can only block. No, I can still block them. But not an Earthshaker Kenra. See, I don't know. This is just too many cards in one block that they printed. They were so redundant. Like, kills a blocker, can't block, can't block, can't block, kills a blocker. So I believe this is going to be enough damage here with 3 things not being able to block. Yeah, we can't even block anything here. Alright. So, possibly I should have... No, I didn't even if I attacked in. We had to hit another creature off the top there. And it was a land. If it would have hit the creature there, we would have been able to swing in for 5/5. My opponent would have to block with the Rampaging Frostodon. And at that point, I still think we died on the backswing, though. Because if we would have taken 3, 6, 7, 8... What was that? 9, though? I don't know. No, because then I would have gone down to it. Okay. Whatever, ramming up. I mean, I feel a little bit better if all of those cards would have been printed in, like, maybe 1 out of Kaladesh, 1 out of Amonkhet block, 1 out of Ixalan. They put all of them in the exact same block. I'm like, this sounds pretty good. We'll give you a 3-2 that makes it so you can't block. We'll give you a 2-1 that makes it so you can't block. We'll give you a Glorybringer that will kill your blocker. And we'll print out a 5/4 that is indestructible in haste. Oh, derp. Okay, Arena, what you doing? Does this give me a loss if I actually click this? Yeah, I don't know if we're gonna be able to stream for much longer because of this Arena is just... I'm gonna have to stream earlier. Because I can't even click on anything now. Well, we might have to do that. We might have to open up some MTGO. This is just embarrassing. Okay, so we're gonna keep this hand. It's got the Jadelight Rangers to dig. I mean, this is why Explorer is such an underrated mechanic. Because in our deck, we're just gonna throw away everything. Unless it's a Rhonas Monument or a Vizier at this point. Majestic Mirac's not a card I want right now. It's a good card that comes later. In fact, it's one of the weaker cards in the deck, but it is one of those go big portion cards. And I do like playing against a green deck because we're gonna have time to get set up. And we'll just go ahead and throw the Initiate because it's one that wants to be. Okay, so we didn't hit the other one, but the Jadelight Ranger's fine. Oh yeah, this might be our last game. I don't think I can tolerate every. Is the audio still coming in fine when we have these lag spurts? Because if it's not, then it's my internet. And if it's my internet, there's nothing I can do about it. That's the problem of living in rural Utah, is the internet is very inconsistent here. There will be days it'll be great. There will be days it will be completely terrible. So if audio is cutting out, let me know in the chat. If it's not, then it's absolutely Arena. Alright, so I don't think MTGO is actually going to help them if that's the case, Tasty. I think it's my crappy internet. Alright, so here we have the Myriarch. We're just going to throw the Myriarch out. Well, the other thing could be is that there could be a... When you do these dumb little animations, that it could get resource intensive and just completely... it should be lagging my entire computer, though. I don't know what's up. I'll have to figure it out and make it so we can stream Arena, because I don't know, I find it more enjoyable than playing MTGO at the moment. I just have to be in one of those moods where I want to be showcasing a specific deck I've worked on. It feels like I can just kind of wing it with Arena and play with what I, have. Okay, so we're just going to cast as many spells as possible this turn, so it's going to be these three at the bottom. And I believe this is lethal. So my opponent just kind of dirtled. And actually, my opponent's not quite dead, because we did have to tap the Chandler, the Initiate. So down to a... There could be like a Regal Caracal that's coming out, but at this point we have a massive Majestic Myriarch. I guess the Caracal could block for a few turns. Let's try something here. So, resources. Oh my god. Okay, never mind. MTG Arena is using up all of my memory and 50% of my CPU. Wow. It doesn't do this all the time. Yeah, this is not what it's reading. Between OBS and MTG Arena, they're like competing with each other back and forth. I don't know, I'll have to talk to some other streamers and see if they found a solution for it. But that could definitely be what's up. Because now it's looking like the OBS is just overloaded with Arena. And same thing with, and maybe I need to switch it over to a screen record. rather than how I've got it set up with arenas is actually supported with, anyway, we'll go to combat here and finish off this game. But the resources that's what's lagging it so bad. So we probably can go over to me, I just don't want to go over to MTG at the moment. I think what I'm going to do is just figure out what it is, maybe try some other settings, and get it up so it's up and running for future streams. But again, one of the streams that didn't do this, so I'm wondering if the longer you've been playing this game, Arena has been running for, I would say, what, 12 hours now on my computer, because I was AFK with it for quite a while. I probably should have put this on something else so it doesn't get cast out. Anyway, there's that win. I apologize for kind of the short stream and, you know, the really choppy stuff, but I don't know if we can justify keep running this with the audio and everything else cutting it out. So I'll give it a go. I'll keep checking back with it. And again, we'll go over the deck tech one last time. It doesn't seem like it kills it to go over the deck techs. Pretty good gameplay in it out of this deck. I highly suggest giving it a go. I don't know if this is a deck that is good in a 3-game match. It's super good in a 1-game match, as you saw. And the only match, what was it? The matches we lost there were just round up red god draws, which happens all the time. It's a very good deck at utilizing its mana. It's got a great curve. And then we lost those when we hit into like 9 lands or 3 Rhonas Monuments. So again, it's a pretty efficient little deck here. Fun. It's different than what you'll see. I haven't seen anyone run a deck even close to this. All the Rhonas Monument decks I've seen run like 1 or 2 of, and then they're trying to go more of a stomp list where running Thrashing Brontodons and the Scavengers and the new Elf, the 5/4 Knight, Elf Knight, and whatnot. Again, this is a card that I'm definitely... Chalet Voice of Plenty is another card that I'm thinking about putting in here. Other than it's kind of a non-bow in a way, where once you have the mana, then putting a ++ counter on each of your creature is not a relevant thing when you're trying to hit creatures off the top of your library with the excess mana with the Vizier. So I don't know if that's the right route to go. But anyway, for all those that did join stream, that were here for just a short time here, the deck tech is that we have 4 Llanowar Elves, the 2 Chandler Initiates, the 4 Drover the Mighties, and the 4 Naga Vitalists. This is our mana accelerants here. Then we have 4 Ixalar's Diviners, the 4 Merfolk Branchwalkers. Okay, maybe I can't even do this. The 4 Jadelight Rangers that work with the Wild Growth Walker to explore. And then we have the win cons being the Rhonas the Indomitable, which can use excess mana to give something +2/+0. The Vizier of the Menagerie, which is the key card to this deck, that once you have the Rhonas Monument enough mana dorks, you can go off the top of your library at your heart content as long as you're hitting creatures, which is the vast majority of this deck except for Rhonas Monument and lands. The Majestic Mirarch, which is our one big bomb creature, big creature that it gets out that's going to be huge. A Samut, the Voice of Dissent, which does have a synergy with the Majestic Mirarch, giving it double strike, vigilance, and haste. And then you can get the trample from the Rhonas Death Touch as well, and the Rhonas' Monument, you can give a trample. But the Samut also gives all your mana dorks the ability to have haste, or all the things you're casting off the top of your library with Vizier of the Menagerie, haste, and you swing in for lethal. I wish I could have recorded some of these games earlier when I was testing this deck, because there was some games that it was like I was so far behind, Vizier hits, next turn, boom, 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 go through so many cards, swing in for lethal. So that's the gist of the deck. Kind of fun. Well, I'll be open for some other ideas of my card pool when we can get a stable arena. But for now, it's just something I don't think we can run without it cutting in and out. It's just very annoying on my part. I'm sure it's annoying for the viewers. So I want to apologize to all those that did join the stream, and kind of a short stream and whatnot. But thank you all for joining. Appreciate all of the input I've had lately and all the subscribers. And thank you all for watching.